Hey, you ever wonder how something so squishy and weird can just sleep? I mean, how do you even sleep without a brain? Well, here's the thing, jellyfish don't really sleep the way we do. They're more like underwater daydreamers. They just kind of float and relax, like a kid who's done with homework and is now staring at the ceiling. But wait, they still need to rest. So they do this weird thing where they flip upside down and float like a jellyfish-shaped balloon. It's like they're saying, okay, I'm done for now. Let me just float and be jelly. No brain needed. Thanks. So what exactly are we talking about? Well, jellyfish, right? These floating, glowing, gel-like creatures that look like they're made of water and maybe a little bit of glitter. They're not just floating around doing nothing, they're doing stuff. Like, they're hunting, moving, and even reproducing. But here's the kicker. They don't have a brain. Not even a little one. Just a nerve map. And here's the fun part. They don't even have a sleep cycle like we do. They don't wake up. They don't go to bed. They just rest. Like a plant, but with tentacles. So, we're not just talking about a jellyfish sleeping. We're talking about a creature that doesn't need a brain to do the basics of life. It's like a couch potato with a glow-in-the-dark cover. And that's why this question is so weird. Because it's like asking, how does a toaster sleep? It doesn't. It just toasts. Okay, so you're like, why should I care about jellyfish sleeping? Well, imagine if your fridge could turn off at night without you telling it to. That's basically what jellyfish do. And guess what? Your body does something kinda like that too. You're not just a blob of meat, you're a complex system with its own sleep cycle. So yeah, jellyfish sleep is like a tiny, glowing version of your own sleep. It's weird, but it's kind of cool. And if you think about it, jellyfish are like the ultimate minimalist. No brain, no complex systems, just a simple nervous net. Yet they manage to do something humans can't sleep without shutting down. It's like they're doing the whole no need for a brain thing, but still getting their rest. That's pretty impressive, honestly. But here's the kicker. Scientists study jellyfish sleep to learn more about how living things rest. Like, if they can figure out how a jellyfish does it, maybe we can learn to sleep better too. Or at least, not get so confused about what we need to sleep at all. It's like they're giving us a sleep hack, minus the brain. So yeah, even though jellyfish don't have brains, they're doing something we all do sleeping. And by studying them, we might unlock secrets about our own rest. It's kind of like they're the sleep experts, and we're the ones asking, wait, how does this work? So next time you're lying in bed, think about those glowing jellyfish out there. They're not just drifting around, they're doing something you're doing, but way more effortlessly. And honestly, that's kind of a win for them. Or maybe for us. Who knows? But it's definitely worth a little all. Okay, let's take a fast lane through time. Jellyfish were around way before we even had brains. Like, 500 million years ago. They were basically the original party animals of the ocean. Back then, the sea was like a wild, uncharted internet. Jellyfish were the first to post their glow up on the deep web. No brains, no problem, they just flowed with the data. They evolved to be super efficient. No need for a brain, since they're just floating, eating plankton, and not really doing much else. Like a vegan who only drinks water and never uses social media. Through the ages, they kept their basic design. No need to complicate things. So yeah, they just stop glowing and drift. It's like a power nap for a glowing disco ball. So yeah, they've been sleeping for eons without a brain. It's like having a sleep schedule that's been around since the Cambrian explosion. Pretty cool, right? So here's the deal. Jellyfish don't have a brain, but they do have a nervous system. It's like a tiny internet of nerves, kind of like a very basic computer, but with more tentacles. Instead of sleeping like us, they just kind of stop moving and float around. It's like when you're really tired and just lie there, but for a jellyfish, it's more like floating in a bubble. They don't dream or anything, but their body still needs rest. Think of it like when you're on vacation, but you're stuck in a pool, and you just float and relax. They also don't really have a sleep cycle like humans. It's more like they turn off their lights and go into a kind of hibernation mode, but they're still kind of alive. So basically, jellyfish sleep by doing nothing. It's like when you're so tired you just stop moving and let your body take over. They're basically the ultimate lazy creature. Okay, so jellyfish don't have a brain, but they still need to sleep. Imagine if you had to sleep without a brain, like you're just a blob of jelly with a few nerves. But hey, no brain, no problem, just a really good nap. So, how do they even know when to sleep? Well, they don't really know, they just follow the rhythm of the ocean. It's like your phone alarm, but for a jellyfish. They just drift with the tide and let the world decide when to rest. They don't have a brain, but they do have nerves. These nerves are like tiny wires that send signals around their body. Think of them as the jellyfish's nervous system, kind of like the internet for a jellyfish, but with more tentacles. These nerves help the jellyfish sense light, movement, and temperature. It's like they have a basic awareness of their environment, but not much else. They don't think, they just react like a simple machine on autopilot. So when it's time to sleep, the jellyfish just stops moving. It's like when you're tired and just lay down, no brain, no thinking, just a big, slow relax. They float, they drift, and they let the ocean carry them into the deep, dark sleep. Okay, so they don't have a brain, but they still need to rest. So how do they shut down? Well, they basically flip a switch. Their body goes from active to super chill, like a robot on standby. No thoughts, no movement, just a jellyfish nap. It's like when you're in a deep sleep, your body just slows down. The jellyfish's muscles relax, and it stops swimming. But here's the kicker, they don't just float there. They actually sink to the bottom of the ocean, like a sleepy floaty in a pool. And here's the thing, when they sleep, they're not really asleep. They're in a kind of hibernation mode. It's like a power-saving setting for a jellyfish. They're still alive, but not doing much. Just like your phone when it's on airplane mode. But wait, they can't just sleep forever. They need to come back online. So they wake up by contracting their muscles again, like a jellyfish alarm clock. They start pulsing, and boom, they're back to normal. So yeah, even though they don't have a brain, they still have their own sleep schedule. It's like they're running on a jellyfish version of a sleep cycle. No brain, but they still get their rest. So here's the twist, jellyfish don't really sleep like we do. They kind of just stop moving. No brain, no plan, just a pause button. It's like when you're in a meeting and you're just not there. Your brain is off, but your body's still doing stuff. Kinda. But here's the kicker. They don't need to sleep to rest. They just need to not be doing anything. Like a video game on pause. So they float, they stop, they rest, and then they start again. No alarm clock, no brain, just jellyfish rhythm. So yeah, no brain, no problem. They got a whole different way of chilling. Just don't ask them to do math. So, here's the thing. Jellyfish don't really sleep like we do. They don't have a brain, so they don't have that whole shutdown for the night thing. They just kind of relax. But they do have a nervous system. It's like a basic version of a brain, just not the complicated one we have. It's more like a traffic light for their body, telling parts when to contract and when to rest. And that system is super low maintenance. It doesn't need a lot of energy, so it can basically just float around and take naps in between bursts of movement. No stress, no drama. The real trick is they don't need to wake up. If they're not moving, they're not doing anything. So they just stop. It's like a power button, but with less effort. So yeah, no brain, no problem. They just do what they do. And if they're not doing much, they're probably sleeping. It's not complicated, just jellyfish. So imagine you're a jellyfish, and your brain is just a tiny bit of jelly that's like, I'm not really in charge. You're basically a floating blob with a few nerves and a stomach that's also a mouth. You don't need to sleep like humans because you're not really conscious in the way we are. You're more like a light bulb that's always on but doesn't know it. You don't shut off. You just kind of float around doing your thing. Sleep is like a power nap for your cells, not a full shutdown for your brain. Quick word from our sponsor. If this sounds like something you'd enjoy, take a look at the Kindle Paperwhite e-reader. There's a link and a QR code on screen right now, and in the description below. Alright, back to it. So when you see a jellyfish floating lazily, it's not like it's taking a nap. It's more like it's just doing its job, like a fridge that's always on but doesn't need to sleep. You're not asleep, you're just existing. In a way, you're like a computer that never sleeps, but also never thinks. You just run on autopilot, doing what you're programmed to do. No dreams, no thoughts, just jelly. So yeah, jellyfish sleep without brain because they don't really need one. They're just a blob of jelly with a few nerves, doing what they do, and not really thinking about it. It's like a dream without the dreaming. So here's the thing, jellyfish don't actually sleep like we do. They just kind of float around and do nothing for a while. It's like when you're on a plane and you're just staring out the window, not really thinking about anything. It's not really sleeping, it's more like a power nap with a jellyfish twist. But here's the weird part. They don't have a brain, so how do they know when to stop? It's like if you had a light switch that turned itself off, but you had no idea it was on. They just stop moving and stop. It's like a switch flipped, but with more tentacles. Scientists think they just follow a rhythm, like how you might feel sleepy at 11 p.m. They might have a built-in clock that tells them when to rest. It's like a jellyfish alarm clock, but with fewer bells and whistles. They just go to sleep, and the best part? They don't dream. No weird jellyfish nightmares about being chased by fish. They just float. It's like if you could sleep so deeply you forget what a nightmare even is. They're basically in a jellyfish coma, but it's a good coma. So yeah, they sleep without a brain because they don't need one. It's like if you could just stop thinking and just float. And that's how a jellyfish sleeps. No brain, no dreams, just jellyfish. Okay, so the first myth is that jellyfish sleep like we do. But here's the thing, they don't even have a brain. So how do they sleep? Well, they don't really sleep the way we do. They kind of just stop doing stuff. You know how you get tired and just shut your eyes? Jellyfish don't do that. They just kind of switch off. It's like a power button. They're not dreaming or anything. They're just not moving around as much. So, if you think jellyfish sleep the way we do, you're wrong. They don't need to rest like we do. They just need to stop moving for a bit. It's like a mini break, not a full nap. Also, they don't have a brain, so they don't have the ability to feel tired. It's not like they're getting bored or anything. They're just on for now. So, the myth that jellyfish sleep the way we do is just not true. They sleep in a totally different way. Like, way more basic. No dreams, no brain, just a jellyfish nap. Okay, so here's another myth. Jellyfish sleep like we do, with eyelids and everything. But no, they don't. They just kind of float into a trance. Think of it like a slow-motion lava lamp. They stop moving, but their body still pulses like a heartbeat. It's like a zombie on a vacation. They don't have a brain, so they don't have a sleep mode. They just stop doing whatever they were doing. It's like your phone shutting down, but with tentacles. Some jellyfish even sleep upside down. They just relax and let the water carry them. It's like a nap in a pool, but with more tentacles. So, no eyelids, no brain, no complicated sleep. Just a jellyfish taking a nap in the ocean. Cool, right? You're probably looking at one right now, and you didn't even know it. Jellyfish are everywhere, just not in the way you expect. Ever seen an glowing jellyfish in an aquarium? That's one. But there's also the ones in your fridge, hiding in the yogurt or the gelatin. And if you ever had a smoothie with chia seeds, you had jellyfish. They're in the same family. They're just really good at being invisible. Even your sunscreen has a little jellyfish in it. It's called algae, but it's basically a jellyfish in a swimsuit. And it's super good at keeping you from looking like a lobster. So next time you're eating a snack or brushing your teeth, remember, you're surrounded by jellyfish, just not the kind that sting you. So here's the thing. I tried to sleep like a jellyfish once. I just lay on the couch, closed my eyes, and hoped I'd float into a dream. Turns out, it's not that easy. My brain kept asking me questions like, why are you sleeping? What's going on? I tried to ignore it. I told my brain, just chill, I'm trying to rest. But my brain replied, chill? You're not even chill. You're just sleepy. That's not the same thing. Eventually, I gave up and just let my brain take over. I mean, it's not like I had a choice. But it's weird, right? You can't just sleep like a jellyfish without a brain. You have to deal with all this brain stuff. So yeah, maybe jellyfish are smarter than we think. They don't have brains, but they do have a way to sleep that's way more chill than mine. So, jellyfish sleep like a kid who got caught with a bedtime snack. They just kind of float there, not really doing anything, but still getting their ZZZS in. And the record for the longest sleep is held by a jellyfish that slept for 18 months straight. That's like me staying up all night to finish a game, but then not waking up for 18 months. No brain, no problem. They just shut down their body like a power switch, and then they wake up like a video game loading a save. No glitches, no errors, just a fresh start. And if you ever see a jellyfish sleeping, don't try to wake it up. It's like trying to wake a kid who's been napping in a puddle of juice. You'll just get a weird look and a splash of liquid. So, yeah, jellyfish sleep like they're on a never-ending vacation. No responsibilities, no deadlines, just floating through the ocean like a dreamy, blobby, jellyfish version of a hammock. Okay, so jellyfish sleep. But what if their sleep goes wrong? Imagine trying to nap but your body decides to do an interpretive dance instead. Sometimes their jelly, which is like their body, gets confused and starts pulsing too fast, like a confused heart trying to race through a bubble bath. In the worst case, the jellyfish might not wake up at all, like a sleepwalker who wandered off and got lost in the dark. But even if they crash, the ocean doesn't notice. It's like if your pet goldfish had a sleepover and you just assumed it was a fancy party. So yeah, jellyfish sleep weird, and sometimes they mess up. But the ocean, it just keeps flowing, like nothing happened. So yeah, jellyfish are basically sleep-deprived aliens. They don't have a brain, so they don't really sleep like we do. They just float around and occasionally twitch. It's like if your dog was a jellyfish and tried to nap on a trampoline. But here's the thing. Even though they don't have a brain, they still have a nervous system. It's not like they're just a blob of jelly. They're like a nervous system in a cup of tea. Sort of. And here's the real downside. They can't really feel pain. They're like the emotional equivalent of a toaster. You can poke them, but they don't even know it happened. They just keep going. So yeah, they're kind of like the sleep-deprived, pain-insensitive, alien version of a toaster. But somehow, they're still one of the most fascinating creatures on the planet. Maybe that's why we keep watching them. So how did scientists even figure out jellyfish sleep? Well, they didn't just sit there and wait for a jelly to fall asleep. They had to be creative, like trying to figure out if a jellyfish even has a brain to begin with. They started by watching jellyfish for hours, like a kid watching a goldfish and pretending it's doing yoga. They looked for signs of rest, like slowing down or not moving much. So they used special cameras and sensors to measure things like heart rate and movement. It's like trying to figure out if a jellyfish is dreaming by looking at its glow. They even compared jellyfish to other animals to see if they had similar patterns. Like, are they just floating around? Or are they actually resting? Eventually, they found that jellyfish do have a kind of rest cycle, even without a brain. It's like they're just doing a really weird, slow-motion version of what we do. So yeah, science figured it out by being patient, creative, and maybe a little bit weird. Because not every answer is in a book, sometimes it's in the water. So here's the real weirdo. Some jellyfish actually sleep upside down. Like, they float upside down and do their whole sleep routine. It's like a jellyfish doing a yoga pose, but in the ocean. No one knows why they do it, but it's definitely not for fashion. Maybe it's easier to catch prey that way, or maybe they just like the view, or maybe they're just weird and don't care. In some cases, they even sleep with their tentacles sticking out like a weird, slumbering octopus. It's like they're trying to tell you something, but you can't understand their language. Quick word from our sponsor. If this sounds like something you'd enjoy, take a look at the Kindle Paperwhite e-reader. There's a link and a QR code on screen right now, and in the description below. Alright, back to it. It's like they're saying, I'm not a brainless creature, I'm a brainless creature with a weird sleep routine. It's the ultimate chill, no mind kind of sleep. So yeah, some jellyfish sleep like they're in a dream, and others sleep like they're in a weird dream. Either way, they're doing it without a brain, and that's kind of the point. And if you ever see a jellyfish doing something weird, don't worry, they're just trying to sleep, or maybe they're